and welcome to another episode of Heroes at Large.
I always hate that tone you do.
I don't care.
I just thought I'd let you know by now. I just hate it. It just sounds really weird. But go ahead. You do you.
I will.
Okay, go ahead. I just had to voice my disapproval of that.
Jealous. Oh my gosh. Allergic to bullshit.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Okay, so I am AVAZ.
My only son.
And you are?
Badass James Dunn.
Okay, and we have a special guest today since the Vanisher is on a
secret
special
mission.
Special guest, introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, Meredream here.
And Meredream is she's up and coming. She's becoming known in the cosplay world. Why don't you go ahead and let everybody know, what you do, what you're into, and
where they can follow you.
Okay, well, you guys can find me on Instagram as Meredream. As they already said, I'm a cosplayer. That's pretty much what I do. I've been dabbling with competitions a little bit, just a little. Just going in there. It's been fun. You guys might know me for my Batgirl. That's what everyone now calls me. It's hilarious. It's like every time I'm at a convention, it's like Batgirl or Meredream. It's like you,
right?
It's very fun. But as far as what I'm into, I'm very much into the comic book scene. That's what I'm more into. Starting to get a little bit more into like the movie industry realm too. I've been playing with it.
Really? You're only like 11, 12 years late?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like a situation where when Captain Marvel came out, I did a Captain Marvel cosplay, but I went for the comic book Captain Marvel.
So wait, because I saw your page. You did Miss Marvel before you did Captain Marvel.
Yes, I've done Miss Marvel for years now, so yeah.
So what is it about the character that intrigued you so much that you're like, I want to... Okay, let me ask. Let me rephrase that question. What is it about the characters you cosplay that makes you want to do it? Like, cause I know you just did what was the last one?
Why do you choose the characters?
Yeah.
Excellent question. I'm glad you asked it. I tend to pick characters that I relate to, or that I feel that, or that I feel like I can portray as.
Okay.
Excellent question, my man.
Jealousy again, you see?
Well, it seems like jealousy both ways.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just calling it as I see it. I'm calling it as I see it here. Hold on.
Yeah, because what was the last cosplay you did?
This will be the last time she's on our podcast.
So, hilariously, the last cosplay that I finished was Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail. That's another realm that I've been just now getting into, which is anime. That took me forever of everyone begging me.
Really?
It's like something, it's like I never really been into it. Then hilariously, one of my friends from school introduced me to Fairy Tail. I was like, hold on, wait, this is good. Damn it.
Is there any character that is just too ambitious for you to take on as a beginner?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to say a lot of the League of Legends.
Okay.
A lot of those, just because you're dealing with a lot of armor with a lot of those, and it's a lot of full body armor, which I find a lot of people struggle with that. And that's something I've gotten a lot of questions about. It's like, how do you build this? And that's something like I'm still learning myself.
Yeah. So is that something you're going to work up to?
Yes, yes it is. That's something I've been trying to learn more on. I've been trying to learn how to work with Warbler.
Yeah, and that gets expensive.
That gets really expensive, and the issue is if you mess up with that, that's an expensive mistake. I've been working with foam on that, which is cheaper, but at the same time it wears down a lot faster.
And the results are a little noticeable.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you tell us how you got into the comic book world? When did you first get introduced, and what was it about it that you like really, love? Or when your first moment was you like, oh, this is it for me?
Okay, for comic books, the very first comic book that I owned was Spider-Man. It was the Ultimate Spider-Man #6. Still have that comic book.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the comic book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping that thing forever. I don't care if some people say it's not a good comic book. I don't care. But my first reading of comic books was actually Black Panther.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. There's a long story behind that, but that's been one of my favorite characters for years. Still my favorite character to this day.
Now, let me ask you something. Since the movie came out, you notice a lot of bandwagons as if, you only knew what the character was really like.
Ooh.
They did a really good job. They did a pretty good job in the movie. I'm not knocking that.
Right.
But then all these fans came out of nowhere and they try to talk to you about it and be like, oh God, that's so much wrong information.
Marvel stands.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I dealt with that a lot. Like, especially even with the merchandise. Before that movie came out, it took forever to find anything merchandise for Black Panther.
Now it's all over the place, and you're a bandwagoner because you couldn't have it before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now there is Black Panther everything everywhere. I'm like, where were you when I was younger?
Right, yeah.
But no, when that movie was announced, I was basically yelling and crying tears of joy. I was so happy. I wish I recorded that reaction. It was wonderful.
No, yeah. Great character. Great story.
You
Oh,
know-
well, let me tell you about Black Panther. Like, you're telling me all the wrong information, though.
Oh, and I'm horrible at keeping my mouth shut. So when someone walks up to me and does that, I correct them. So
I've seen it happen.
Yeah. I do it myself. Actually, I let them explain it to me first. And then I here's where you're...
No.
Here's where you're right, and here's where you're wrong.
Interesting. So, now that you got to know Meredream a little bit better, what are we going to talk about today? What's on the docket there?
We're going to talk about the new Joker trailer that just dropped a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney allowed us
And
for that.
the webiverse of lies that we're getting from Sony and
Marvel.
and Disney. So what topic do you guys want to jump into first?
Why don't we start with the most recent, which is
Joker.
the Joker.
Yeah,
That
Joker
Joker trailer just dropped yesterday.
Yeah, Joker trailer just dropped yesterday. It comes out in October.
Yeah, October.
Yeah.
October. So it's interesting. It looks very, very interesting. The fact that Thomas Wayne punches the Joker in the face, I think that's been confirmed by people that said that was...
Yeah, that's supposed to be Thomas Wayne. Did you notice that that one museum...
The Charlie Chaplin?
With the Charlie Chaplin, that's Wayne Hall.
Yeah.
It says
But
right up on the wall.
what caught my eye first was a Charlie Chaplin movie called Modern Times,
Yeah.
which is the first Charlie Chaplin movie that actually had sound.
Mhm.
So, and then from there, I think the second one was the Great Little Dictator.
Right.
Was another movie he did where he was a spinoff of Hitler,
Yeah, Hitler.
but they were members of the Double Cross.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the second movie that had sound, and he had a really good speech on that one. Anyway, but yeah, that's what caught my eye more than anything else was the Modern Times banners. It took me a while because he sent me the picture. Did you catch this?
Right.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, Modern Times, Charlie Chaplin. Oh, there it is. That's what we're talking about.
So here's a question, since I haven't dived too much in the comic world of Joker, only
Okay.
a little bit. Is there really that much of a backstory in the
No.
comics for Joker?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And the thing about the Joker is there was Alan Moore wrote The Killing Joke. Alan Moore is a great story writer. He did V for Vendetta.
Right.
He did The Watchmen.
Yeah.
And then he also did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Was that him?
That was him also.
Okay.
That's the only movie that he lent his name to.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I thought
he did not want his name on The Watchmen. He did not want his name
No, it
on V
wasn't
for
on-
Vendetta because
no.
he was pissed. So the one that was probably the worst adaptation was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's what I was gonna say because I thought that was the worst one.
And his name is on there. Is
That's
Alan
crazy.
Moore. And so
maybe that's why he didn't want to put his name on anything else.
you know what? I don't know. He is very artistic. So if things don't go his way, it just I don't want anything to do with it.
Okay. I can see that, dude.
He's very recluse. If you could get an autograph of him, you're a god.
Like Frank Miller-ish.
Yeah, a little bit worse
Well,
than
Frank-
because
'cause
Frank
Frank
Miller
Miller
does
was-
conventions.
But he was for a while being very
Recluse.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now he's been doing a couple of conventions and things like that because he's writing again.
Yeah. And he's got his name all over stuff now.
Yeah. And he did a Killing Joke, which he did a story of what happened, and there's a movie, One Bad Day.
Yeah, his version of what
could have transpired.
Yeah,
but in the same episode, the same comic book, they say like you've also mentioned this, you've also mentioned that, and he says, well, if I have to have a past, I would want it to be multiple choice.
Oh, okay.
So when Heath Ledger did the whole, do you want to know how I got the scars? And it would always change, is because he read that book where it's kind of like, if I want to have a past, I'm going to make it multiple choice. So you never really knew how he got those scars.
What his actual past was.
But according to what they alluded to was, one of those stories is real. Mm-hmm. You just don't know which one it is.
Becomes a game like everything else with that.
Yeah. So with this interpretation of the Joker...
we've talked about that before. I mean, that's what probably one of the most interesting things about the Joker is that, he's very mysterious as far as his backstory goes.
And I really don't want to know.
Right, yeah.
You really don't want to know, because I think the veil will be removed from there, and, you can't...
Although the Killing Joke origin...
wasn't canon, it was canon.
It's not that bad.
No, it was a great story.
I mean? Yeah, I mean, the way the whole book was done. And what's weird, though, is... Did you ever see the movie, The Killing Joke?
No.
The animated movie? The animated movie kind of doesn't capture what the book does for some reason. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, it was one book, and it was a really good story. Mm-hmm. The problem is, it's kind of like when you make a movie like they did with The Grinch. It's a short story that they had to make longer.
Yeah, they had to expand on it.
So if you pack in all the stuff emotionally that happens in the book, you're going to have a 30-minute movie.
Wait, I got a question. Is that why you dress up as Batgirl?
Oh, no. Stephanie Brown, I had someone point her out to me, and it's like, this is your twin. I was like, huh?
You're not doing Barbara Gordon.
No, I do Stephanie Brown.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say, because you did Stephanie Brown before you did anything else. Wasn't it, right?
Well, okay, Stephanie Brown was a long cosplay that I was working on. It took me like a year and a half to really work on it.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, and that's because that was during the beginning of the cosplay realm where I was like, okay, how do I do this?
Yeah. Trying to figure it out.
I learned I don't like jumpsuits. I don't like making them through that cosplay. And I learned I am horrible with making cows myself.
Yeah, you gotta get somebody to make those for you.
Yeah, I was lucky to find someone.
So,
but
the story incorporated like a love affair with Batman and Batgirl, which was not in the book, but has happened in like the future. They've talked about it in like Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond, yeah.
So it was like
past tense.
It was like Batsuits are really easy to take off, apparently.
Well, this is...
Because this happened on a rooftop, and it was like, alrighty, let's do this. It's kind of like, wow, you figured armor is going to be a little bit longer to take off. It was kind of like, it just was misplaced.
And I'll admit, that was kind of the reason where I was really iffy about watching that movie. Because when they first announced it, I was like, oh yeah, let's do this. And then they released that, I'm like,
But the reason they did it is because they had to put across how important Batgirl is to Batman and why it was what it was. And if you come into watching a movie and you don't know the history, you'd have to explain why she became Batgirl, how, he bothered to tell her no, how he wound up, training her for a bit, and, he pretty much... The persona that I've always seen with Batman and Batgirl is big brother, little sister.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
Okay, so with this, because kind of like we're going to have a hard time explaining this, let's just say there's a romantic aspect to it. So when you're known as brother and sister, as a comic book reader, you get that, whoa, that's not supposed to happen. So a lot of comic book fans were like, because it wasn't part of the book.
And I'll admit, that's where I struggle with some people a lot, because I am very much the comic book person. I'm the person's like, okay, this movie's coming out. I'm doing my research now. And then it's like, oh, I like that.
I try not to. Because I already know, so it's kind of like, I'm okay with what they're trying to get at. I understand what filler they have to take out and what they have to add in to make the movie more coherent. As much as I love Harry Potter, they did that with the books. It's kind of like, all right, let's get rid of Neville. Let's put Ron in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did the whole entire books, it would take the span of the whole entire school year.
Yeah, it would have had to turn into a Hobbit situation.
I mean, I understand where they're coming from. I mean, like, did you guys watch Hush? Batman Hush?
Yeah, I saw the Hush.
Such a great, great book.
That's an amazing book.
And it was an okay movie.
I finished it and I was like, I need to go back and read the book because...
Some of the aspects were there.
Yeah.
But they killed off... Well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Don't.
We won't get into that right now. Well, yeah, anyways, what about the Joker trailer? Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
It's very artistic.
Yeah.
It's very, very artistic.
Yeah, this is going to be one of them
And-
film noir type.
And I
movies.
like the fact that his makeup looks a lot like Cesar Romero's original when he first showed up at the Joker in Batman with Adam West.
Yeah, the first
which actually happens to be the same mask that Heath Ledger wore for the heist. It was the same makeup that Cesar Romero did with the little bit of blue.
Yeah.
The sad clown looking thing. So I really do like that. The suit was great too.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, I mean, you have to really pay close attention. You realize he's wearing it almost throughout the whole entire trailer. But it's when he puts the makeup on that the color really does pop on that suit. And I'm curious to see also what's Robert De Niro's role, which...
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this character doing a standalone film like this. Because, I mean, artistically, film-wise, it's gorgeous. From what we've seen of it, that's beautiful. But also I'm curious, like, okay, so what storyline are we going with? Are we having a solid storyline? What's going on here?
Well, I think it's going to be a whole Alan Moore type thing where they're basically going to create their own backstory for the Joker.
And then probably lied to us about it.
Yeah. It'll be like a one shot, and then that'll be it.
Well,
oh man, I can't
because
expect that.
it technically
The lying part.
they still banked on Jared Leto's Joker, which I'm not mad at.
No.
Not too many people like it.
Mhm.
I know you weren't a big fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a hater.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have teased for God knows how long the three Jokers aspects. So So this could be 1 and 2, and now we're going to wait for number 3 after this.
That's true.
DC has, well, you've been reading comics, right? So you know DC's been teasing 3 Jokers for a while. So that could be it, or it could be Jared Leto's artsy interpretation of himself when he's in the asylum.
Well, like I said before, I mean, I think the only problem that I'll have with the Joker movie is if there's no real connection to the DC world. I mean, we're supposed to have Thomas Wayne in there. I saw that, on that building it says it's Wayne Hall. At the end of the trailer, it does say based off of DC characters. So,
well,
I've got hope. It's just that the trailer really doesn't give you a whole lot of connection.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that, like, I'm not mad at it, but...
But the good thing,
no one ever has a problem with Spider-Man Noir. There is alternate versions of every single character out there. That's why they have a multiverse. Right. So, just because there's this interpretation, because technically speaking, he shouldn't be the Joker if it wasn't for Batman.
Right.
So if it's Thomas Wayne doing this and he's the Joker beforehand, you could already expect that it's probably not going to be full canon. It's going to be Elseworld, just like everything else has been out there. Just like Spider-Man Noir, just like Miles Morales is also Elseworld. Jared Leto could be one, and this could be another one from a different...
But do you agree? Because I have a feeling that if it doesn't have a strong enough connection to the rest of the DC world, people are going to hate the movie.
That is something I'm also worried about. Because I'll be honest, I would love to see a Batman movie with the Joker again. And especially if we're doing this trying to do a multiverse now.
And I wouldn't want to see Batman and Joker again for a little while.
Well, yeah, like the next movie, the Batman that they're going to do, I don't need to have the Joker in there. Because
I
they're
don't
going to have
either.
a bunch of villains, so I'd rather see the other villains.
Yeah, like we've mentioned before, it's kind of like I would love to see Clayface, the ventriloquist, the Clock King, anybody but, Penguin. The ones that have been done before.
Yeah.
Which is...
I want to see some of the newer characters.
Well, not even newer. I mean...
Well, if you look at the Batman universe, there's so many villains.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's tons of villains
I think a grittier, smarter, less campy Riddler would be fine. You know, I would love to see, like I said, the ventriloquist and Scarface. Mm-hmm. Or, like I said, even Clayface would be a great addition. You cannot bank it all on the A-list villains. It's kind of like throw some of the bad ones in there. Hell, throw a Kite Man in there.
It's only because they feel, I think the Warner Brothers is afraid to not, utilize a well-known character.
No, but that was the same fear that Marvel had when they had to push Iron Man, who was a D-list superhero.
Right, yeah, same fear.
So, and it's kind of like, and now...
Look at where that went.
Yeah, the X-Men was the number one team in Marvel history, and now they're not. And then they even knocked off into Fantastic Four. It was like the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and then the Avengers, and now it's totally turned around. But that's because they put money and stock in characters that nobody wanted to see, and they got people and stories that everyone cared about. So if DC kind of pulled from that and decided, you know what, let's give these guys a chance. Granted, now that James Gunn has taken over Suicide Squad, it's kind of like now you're getting King Shark. I think Gorilla Grodd might be in there. Yeah. And a couple other, even Dave Bautista says, I'll play a character. So that's given me a little bit. I loved, out of the best of the Suicide Squad for me was Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, I liked him.
So, and he's coming back, I think, as Captain Boomerang. But
I would hope so.
Yeah, but because he was a B-list villain.
Yeah, he didn't get enough screen time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, he really didn't, honestly.
So, that's what I want to see. I don't want to... as much as I love the Joker, and I'm glad he's getting his own movie, I really don't want to see Batman versus Joker.
Well, I think that we all saw the Joker coming.
Yeah.
I kind of like to look for Easter eggs when watching the movies. I don't know how many of them are actual hints or not, but... The one that I know I was going over and a lot of people were looking at was the graffiti at the end of Batman vs. Superman. There was like a Joker thing in there. There was all the question marks.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I'm like, when you mentioned the Riddler, I'm like, okay, maybe it's possible. They put that in there, but I don't know if they just did that one,
Batman has been doing it for 20 years. And then it continued on Justice League, where Alfred... You made a comment. It's kind of like our biggest problem was wind up exploding penguins. So, he's been there and he's done that. So, yeah, but I would love to see, who they're going to cast again. Because Sparkly Vampire, I think he said he's out. He's not doing the movie. And it conflicts with another movie he's doing with Christopher Nolan, I think. So, I think I read it. I checked a couple sources that said it was true. But then they just dropped it. So I don't know if he backed out of one movie to do Batman, but it seems like he backed out of Batman to do this other movie. So...
Yeah, I heard something that was a possibility that would happen. Unfortunately.
I really don't care who does Batman, because the person you least expect is the one... Everyone hated Ben Affleck. When he got cast...
Yeah, I know.
Hated. And I think he was one of the better Batmans we've had.
Okay, now I understand why you said Sparkly Vampire Twilight.
Yeah.
This is why I don't do that. I'm sorry if people don't hate on me. I don't like Twilight. I hate Twilight with a passion. So when they showed that to me, I was like, oh, heck no. Please drop this actor now.
Well, we had a hard time kind of swallowing it, too. We did some research.
Especially AVAZ. Stuff. He had a harder time.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Until the movie comes out, I guess I have to keep my mouth shut and just
Jack Nicholson was hated before he did his Joker. Same thing.
I was excited when I saw Jack Nicholson.
Heath Ledger was hated before Ben Affleck was hated, and they turned out to some amazing stories and roles. George Clooney was hated, and for good reason. Even he hates Batman. He apologizes for that Batman. But yeah, so... the trailer looks amazing. Go check it out. I would say pick it apart as much as you can. I'm just curious to see when he goes to the hospital, is it for him or for his mother? Because it seems like he's got a Norman Bates style of relationship with his mother.
But just on the trailers, the movie, I think the movie is going to be amazing. Whether or not it's going to be one of the top DC movies, I don't know. But the movie looks like it's going to be good. If you love movies, you'll probably love this one.
It was just one of those things, like, it wasn't really necessary for me to see him in his tighty-whities.
Wow.
But I could see how that would make it look like a little bit more empathetic for the character.
Yeah. All right, so moving on. What was the other trailer we saw?
Everything from Disney Plus.
That's right.
They dropped a
Disney Plus dropped a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, Star Wars, Rise of the Skywalker. They did
She-Hulk.
What
Miss
If?
Marvel.
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
I saw pictures of What If. I guess one of the first episodes is going to be... Yeah, Peggy Carter becomes Captain America.
Oh.
What if Peggy Carter became
Captain America.
Okay, I'm kind of like that one.
So there's that one, and they actually got the actresses to do the voice. WandaVision is another one.
Yeah.
That one's going to be interesting.
It's a sitcom.
Right.
It's a Marvel sitcom. So they're going to have... I think they said they might even have a laugh track.
No, of course, they have to have a laugh track.
I hope so. Yeah. So there's that one. Live action Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, that's
I saw
right.
that. That was some crazy thing that I thought it was extremely crazy. I guess when the streaming service goes live, they're like automatically going to have all this stuff already available. All these new movies, all these new shows. Like,
yeah.
Boom.
It wasn't like the DC app. As much as I love it, it's kind of like, oh, you had to wait.
As much as you defend it.
Yeah.
You have to. You have a week or a month after launch. You had Titans.
Yeah, I think it was about a month. And then you have a constant one episode every week.
Was it one or two? I think it's two. No, I think it's you're right. It's one,
one.
which I'm
Friday,
fine with.
Yeah.
I don't care about that part.
Well, you're a busy guy.
I mean,
I am. Like
I don't have a life.
I still haven't even finished Swamp Thing. So it's a great show.
I watched Power Titans on that. I'll admit, because my whole thing with the streaming services, I'm like, it's another service to pay for. Is it really worth it? Am I really going to watch enough of it to make it worth paying money to see this?
Well, the live action stuff like Titans is really good. Swamp Thing was great, and it just got canceled like first season. And it's their number. It's like, I think it's their number one show that everyone loved, and they're like, oh yeah, before you guys love it more, we're gonna cancel it.
Yeah, which was really weird.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
And then let me see what else is out there. Doom Patrol was great, and
I watched part of that, and I loved what I watched so far.
Brendan Fraser is amazing in that.
It's a great show. It's freaky, but the characters are cool.
Yeah, just the fact that you have the talking cockroach.
Yeah,
that wants to take over the world.
I'll bet with that one, I was just happy to see a Doom Patrol. Period. When they released that trailer, I'm like, what? Really? We're doing this? Okay.
Yeah, no, that one. Stargirl's coming out. Harley Quinn's getting her own. Yeah. Titan season 2.
That trailer dropped.
Anyway, back to DC. I mean, back to Disney.
Disney Plus.
Disney.
Well, the other thing about Disney Plus is I guess they're going to drop like 500 of their original movies and shows from the past.
Well, it's from what I said, I think it's $70 for the full year. And
well, if you were at D23, then they had like a 3-year deal. You could sign up for 3 years and get a discounted price.
I would have done it.
Oh yeah, from what I heard, like everybody that was there did it.
I would have done it right off the bat.
I wasn't at D23 this year because a lot of stuff happened there. I'm like,
a lot.
Wow, this was a good year. Damn.
So I never gone. I thought about going, didn't wind up going, and.
I thought about it, but too much stuff kept coming up. I'm like, I can't really do it this year.
So, but 2 years. It's every 2 years, right?
It's every other year.
Yeah. I mean,
what else was there? There was something else that I see.
Jeff Goldblum's gonna have his own.
That's it.
Jeff Goldblum, the world according to Jeff Goldblum. Like I'm getting there for that alone. And I'm hoping that they're gonna have the original like Gargoyles on the streaming and DuckTales.
Oh yes.
I'm hoping they're gonna do that. Maybe Tailspin. I wasn't really big on Tailspin. But, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Oh, yeah. That's the one.
So if that's going to be on there, I know they're going to have The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wasn't a promo video.
Right.
And I think they even showed when they were making fun of Disneyland.
Yeah.
That was one of the promos that they had on there. So they're going to have... I wonder if they're ever going to have Married with Children on there.
I have no idea. I don't know. That would be interesting.
Because it doesn't fit with the Disney, but it is... They own it now.
I mean, Disney owns a lot now.
They do. So,
I'm actually kind of interested to see if they're gonna put on there some of the really older Disney movies.
Well, from what I heard, they were going to.
that you
You know what I really
anywhere.
want to watch, and I hope they put is the black and white Zorro.
Oh wow, that's way back.
From back when they had the original Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, the original.
They had Zorro. But yeah, I'm wondering if that's gonna. But you know what else could possibly show up there is that they own the rights to 1966 Batman. That was a Fox production.
Was it?
Yeah, they do now.
That would be messed up if they did put it on there.
There's a lot of stuff just because
everybody would. Everybody would lose it. Be like, what?
I don't know what the contract states, but it was a Fox produced show. Before Warner Brothers bought like all the rights, but I don't know how that's going to fall because that's why it's not on the app because I don't own the rights to that, but Fox does, which technically Disney owns now. So if they wanted to, they could put Batman 66 on the streaming service. I don't know what kind of legalities that go into it, but that would be great.
Yeah, and there's so many different things that's going to be on the Disney,
Green Hornet,
the Disney streaming service right off the bat that. I can't see any reason why it's not going to be popular. Just
The Mandalorian alone. The trailer for The Mandalorian looks really good.
Yeah.
So that looks good. Then we also released a trailer for Rise of the Skywalker.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks great. I can't wait for that. I'm extremely excited. And then when they showed that trailer at D23, how it opens up and they're basically showing from the very beginning and all the different all different movies. And I started thinking to myself, like, holy crap, I remember when the first one came out, I was only a couple of years old, but I've been watching all these movies. 40 years later, they're finally going to finish the Skywalker saga. And, I got a little teary-eyed. I was like, oh my God, this is like a, thing from my childhood. It's actually going to come to an end.
Yeah, but it's Disney dollars, so it's going to continue somewhere.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm wondering about.
No, they are going to continue, and actually I was reading something about it today where they're going to continue with another trilogy, but it's going to be a different storyline. They're no longer going to do movies based off the Skywalker family.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, so the next trilogy of Star Wars movies, I think the first one starts in 2022, and then it's going to be 2024, and then 2026.
Yeah, and in between is going to be Avatar.
Yeah, that's
every
right.
other year is going to be Avatar, and every other year is going to be Star Wars.
But the other Star Wars movies are going to be something completely different. It's going to be in the world of Star Wars, but it's going to be all new characters. You probably won't see Chewie, and you might not even see like Rey or
I think they'll be in there. Anymore. I think they'll be in there. It's going to take off from there. Like they're going to be the new three: Luke, Han, and Leia.
You think? It's possible.
It's possible because that's going to be their trilogy. Everyone else is going to be gone. They're going to continue on. Okay, now here's their. Here are these crazy kid shenanigans.
What if in this last movie they kill off everybody? Right? I mean, they killed off Han. They killed off Luke. The third one, they're probably going to kill off Leia.
Well, she's kind of already gone.
Yeah, but that was part of their plan.
Yeah.
And then what if they kill off the two kids, and then the whole Skywalker thing is done?
No, that's why. Or also it would be called the end of the Skywalker. Not
that's
the rise.
That's the other thing that's really.
Not the rise of the Skywalker.
What the hell does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean? The rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Who's rising? You know what I mean?
Well, here's a couple things you have to look into, and you watched all the movies, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'd have to throw you out.
Oh no, that's me and my dad's series. Like I would be disowned.
Okay, so let me as I try to say things, explain things, to see if he follows through and see if it holds any water. And the very first one that they came back with the new cast, Skywalker was a legend.
Right.
All right. So that's all he is a legend. They heard about it. It's like, oh, so the stories are true. So it's just a legend.
Right.
There is no more hope because there's no more Jedi right now. So I have a feeling that Rey is not going to create new Jedis. They're going to be Skywalkers. Because that is the new legend that has to come back. Kind of like the legend of the Batman.
Yeah.
Terry McGinnis is kind of like he took over. But now let's assume nobody knows what Jedis anymore because they already think Skywalkers are a myth. Or Skywalker is a myth. So they won't cling to Jedis. Because they don't even know what those are. Because they've been extinct longer than what they think Luke Skywalker is. I think that in order to instill more hope into the universe is now this order are going to be called Skywalkers.
And you're That kind of makes sense because even in this new trilogy, you've got with the dark side, it's no longer the Empire, it's the
First Order,
and then you've also got the Knights of Ren.
So it would make more sense
that would make
for
sense,
a legend to actually exist in something that they actually know about. The story
Yeah.
of Skywalker or Luke Skywalker. So kind of like nobody knows what he looks like. Nobody has seen him. They just heard stories. So Rey could be Skywalker.
Well, that also makes sense because if you look at the last movie titled The Last Jedi.
Yeah, and he says there are no more Jedis. It's only you. So if the hope and everyone had clanged on to hope of a Skywalker, and to me it makes a lot more sense. I'm just kind of like, well, I'm Luke I'm a Skywalker. Well, I'm a Skywalker too. I'm a Skywalker too. So then that hope of the Jedi has been transferred and just changed its name to Skywalker.
Yes, and then we're also going into this realm where we're dealing with these people that can feel both the light and the dark force and can use both.
Yeah, that's what the theory is, because that's what Luke did. He walked both sides of the line.
Yeah, that's what Rey was doing. That's why he didn't really want to train her. That's
what
happened with Kylo.
Yeah, so, I mean, hell, it could be where Rey becomes the villain and now Kylo is the hero.
What are your thoughts on that ending with the Dark Rey? What are your thoughts, Meredream? What do you think that means? What do you think that part is?
I'm not too sure yet. I'm looking at it. If that goes down there, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be mad at that. Because, okay, being the cosplay realm, since the first movie of this new trilogy, I've seen Dark Rey cosplays. I've looked at them like, that would be awesome if that was an actual thing.
Yeah. So
if it's like, there's a slight possibility now that could be an actual thing, I'm like, I'm down with it. I'm not going to lie.
And what do you think, Dynamite?
I think it's her trial. Like when Luke went down the, in Dagobah. Right down the cave that he saw himself in the Vader costume.
Yeah, when
and
he fought Darth Vader. Yeah.
So it could be that. A lot of people thought that that moment had already passed when she went down that hole and she saw multiple versions of herself.
Yeah.
Forward and backward. But I think this is probably this could be it. Where it's kind of like this is her awakening moment of this is what I would be like if I was in the dark side. Just like Luke did with his like, I am Darth Vader inside the mask.
It could be.
Yeah, or it could be just like I said. She could become the villain at the end.
So what are your guys' thoughts on, because I don't know if you've heard of all the theories. One of the biggest, I think, most ridiculous, but what if it's true? Rey is a clone of Luke Skywalker.
I don't really buy that.
Because the theory is...
It's 2X23.
Right?
Yeah.
The theory is that since Luke lost his hand, somebody got his hand, made a clone out of it, and that's where Rey came from.
I've looked at that thing. I don't believe
I think she's... honestly, I think she's a Kenobi.
That
Kenobi.
makes more sense.
I think she's a Kenobi.
I would say that too. I think we both agreed on that.
We've talked about it before. Yeah. You don't know what happened to Kenobi after he left the Order and he was caring for Luke from afar. He could have actually had a kid himself, and I don't want to be a hermit, so she left. Had a kid of her own. Happened just to grow up around the same age as Luke. They met, and here comes Rey. She could, if she's a Skywalker in Kenobi, that would be great.
Ooh.
You know what? That might be one of the reasons why they're bringing Kenobi back for, what was it, his own series?
Yeah, but he's got his own series on
some other series or something.
No, he's doing his own series for Disney Plus as well,
Yeah,
which is
for
another
Disney
thing
Plus,
that got dropped. You know, so I mean, I know he's doing that.
I mean, our biggest question about Rey, since she's been introduced, is who is she? Who's her parents?
But does her lineage really matter?
That's exactly what was brought up for The Last Jedi. That was what
because other Jedis, they didn't come from regal families.
True, but then it's been said before that this is all the Skywalker saga. This is all the story of the Skywalker family. So if she's not part of that family, what the hell is she doing there? Why is she such a main character?
You have to realize that it's also based... There's still a Skywalker. There's still Leia. Back to the Future. Ever watch Back to the Future?
Oh, yes.
What's that?
Yeah. Everyone considers Marty McFly to be the main character, but he's not. He just happens to be tagging along. Yeah, the first movie was about his parents. The second movie was about Biff. The third movie was about his parents.
No, the third one was about Doc.
Yeah. Doc. So he just happens to be there.
I've never seen it though.
You never seen it? I'm pretty sure you haven't.
Wait,
No, he hasn't. No.
Like, hold on, wait, I've seen this. Hold on.
So I mean, you're looking at Ray. Ray is just tagging along. She might not be the main focus. It could still be everyone else. She just happens to be along for the ride, which essentially is what happened.
I mean,
She did not want to leave the system. Like, I have to go back. It could be Finn's story all the way through.
Yeah, that would blow my mind if that was true.
Oh,
How? Okay, I'm not even.
You was thinking that.
I just really like
Because that's another thing. Like, okay, so where the hell does Finn fit in all this? Like, just because is he supposed to be the new Han Solo? Like,
well, Finn is
that's what I thought when they came out with episode 7. I thought that Finn was going to be like the new Han Solo.
No,
I didn't know.
And then
but
episode 8, he's got this thing going on with Rose. I'm like, wait.
You are looking.
Okay, I'm sorry, but with that girl, I'm just like with Rose. I'm like, where did you come from?
Well, you guys are basing it on characters that you know, not these new characters. No one's going to replace Han Solo. No one's going to replace Luke Skywalker or Leia. These characters are gone. You have to establish new characters, and that's what they're doing. Here's a former trooper who didn't even have a name. They just started calling him Finn, and he liked it. He didn't have a past because it's been erased. You have a star pilot who is gun-ho like
Luke?
Not Luke, like Han. But it's kind of like he does follow the rules to a point.
He follows a code.
Yeah. So there's a couple little things like Rey she was the opposite of Luke. She doesn't want to be there. She got dragged into it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Luke wanted to join the Empire.
Yeah, that's right.
He wanted to join the Empire in the beginning. Ewoks aren't as cute. They wanted to eat people. They were going to cook Han and Luke. And like, oh, look at how they're cannibals. They're eating people. People forget that part.
Yeah, I mean, they had skulls and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like they eat people. They're not vegetarians.
I mean, is it really cannibal like, if they're not human or whatever?
Well, they are human. They either way. They eat.
That's just regular diet.
They eat people. They eat people. Sentient beings.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, it's not like a forest creature. It's kind of like, no, these people could talk. They're wearing clothes. Let's eat them.
Okay, so thoughts on the last movie? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
On which movie?
On Star Wars Episode 9.
The first and last trailer we got.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah,
can't wait.
I've got a thumbs up on that one.
You think it's going to be better than Episode 8?
I had no problem with it. People had a problem with Episode 8.
Yeah.
People had a problem with Solo.
Well, oh yeah, that's true.
50-50 on me.
It's a buddy film. That's the best friend combo in a good while that we've had. I think, in my personal opinion. I don't care how Han Solo got his blaster. I don't care how he got his belt. I care how he met Chewie and how they became friends.
No, I liked Solo. I thought Solo was a good movie.
As a matter of fact, I even bought the little Dysons hanging from my mirror now.
I wasn't mad at Solo like everyone was on that level. I was just like, okay, it's good. It's a Star Wars movie, but it feels like it was just made to make money. That was my attitude.
Well, I think they're gonna branch out. I mean, the couple. If you haven't seen it, then it's on Hulu and Netflix right now.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
But when you saw Darth Maul,
oh yeah, that like blew me away.
Darth Maul.
But I had somebody like, it's not a good story because there's no lightsabers.
Wait, what? Someone said
Wow.
that?
Yeah, we've had people. I've known somebody that says if there's no lightsabers, it's not a Star Wars movie. Yeah.
Guys, do more research, please.
So, and technically speaking, there was a lightsaber in it because Darth Maul had his and he turned it on.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So the same thing with what was the great movie? Rogue One. My God, Rogue One was great.
Oh, Rogue One was awesome. Yeah, but that one had lightsabers.
Yeah, it did. One, but either way, even if that wasn't in there, would not take away from the movie. No.
I still, I liked Solo. I liked the way it showed, how he was becoming the guy that we know.
He knew. Well, he thought he was better than he was. He became better.
Right.
But he thought he was a smooth-talking, sweet guy that could get away with anything. He wasn't. He was bad.
One of my favorite things about that movie is a lot of the sayings that we know and love from Han Solo. In the Solo movie, they, turned it. So he was kind of saying the opposite of
what he normally says.
Right.
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that. I thought it was cool.
That show growth.
And Donald Glover as Lando
Oh,
Calrissian.
he killed it to me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to convince my wife to let me have a cape room. So I gotta hold all my capes in.
Next to your new saber.
Oh, yeah. Galaxy's Edge. We gotta talk about that, too.
Well, you want to talk about Galaxy Edge? We can talk about that.
I mean, that's a good segue.
You guys have not been yet, right?
No, I haven't.
It's cool. I mean, Galaxy's Edge, I don't want to say it didn't live up to the hype. You got to see a full-size Millennium Falcon. You get to pilot it if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's fine, but you're done in, like, if you're not waiting in line in 10 minutes, you're done. Like, there's not really much to see. It's Disney dollars. Great. I mean, they invested a lot of time and money. They have an app where you can interact with, you can hack droids. But the expensive stuff, the build your own lightsaber, $215 with tax. Great experience. A lot of fun. You get to build your own. They tell you a great story behind it, but it's still $200.
Well, have you been to Hogwarts over at Universal Studios?
Yeah.
So is it kind of like that?
It's about probably a little wider, but about the same length.
And roughly about the same thing because with Hogwarts, there's like really one ride.
Well, there's
There's
technically...
two.
Well, there's two, but one of them doesn't really count.
Coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, one's a like...
That's more like for kids.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
The flight of the
Gryffindor.
no, that's
It's a roller
a
coaster.
house of the hippogriff.
There, that's it. That's what I said.
Yeah, so it's similar. You're going on there. You get to pilot the Millennium Falcon. That's the cool part about it.
Now, I
And-
heard that you actually can pilot it. Like
Yeah.
you move the joystick
Yes.
or whatever. And
they have
moves with it?
Yeah, you have
like
two
you're
pi-
playing the video game type thing.
you have two pilots, pilot and co-pilot, two gunners and
Nice.
two engineers. So the total of 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have all 6 people. So they have like a single rider's line. When I got to go, I got to be a pilot. One person moves left and right, the other person moves up and down.
Huh.
Oh.
So if they move to the right, but you're about to hit something, you either got to go up or you got to go down under it.
Yeah.
The gunners, obviously, they shoot. You get a score.
Wow.
If you go too low, you scrape, you hit the bottom. If you go too high, you hit the top. Left and right, so the same thing. Engineers, like, they have to time it and grapple certain things because you're on a... Kind of like in Solo, you know, they go on a heist,
Yeah.
a train heist.
Yeah.
Something similar to that. It is a little disorienting because if you get motion sickness...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it gets pretty bad because you're in not like Star Tours, where it's a big room, you're in a cockpit. You feel like you're in a cockpit. So,
Really?
yeah. So you move, and you're like, oh, okay. But you have control of up and down if you're that pilot. You control of left and right.
Huh.
So if you know you're moving left, you're cool, but the other person's moving it up or down, then you like, woof, get a little woozy. But ultimately, it's a lot of fun. You get a score, kind of like how well you did. Well,
That's
you get a
bad.
percent. You get a percentage of the take. So if
Oh,
you,
really?
yeah, because
Oh,
if
that's
it's a
cool.
heist and you damaged X amount because of you messed up,
Right.
then your percentage goes down. So it's kind of like you go from 20% to now a 15% because you caused X amount of damage.
Wow.
You were able to grapple whatever as an engineer. You get X amount more because you did a better job than the other person did.
Well, that's pretty cool, though.
So yeah,
Okay.
so it's a lot of fun. There's some interactive stuff. Like I said, they have an app, so there's actually a mission. If you download the app, it tells you, "Are you here?" They're like, "Yes, I'm looking for this," and there's barcodes for you to scan because you need a certain part. All right, you found that. Now you're gonna go here. Could you do this? Now you're gonna go there. Could you do that? So there's that kind of stuff to do.
That's
There
pretty
is another ride that's not open yet. It's not
Yeah,
going
that's
to
what I
open
was
until
gonna say.
next year.
And I heard that one's supposed to be even better than the one that's open now. It's supposed to be like
It's a first order ride.
it's supposed to be it's supposed to like blow all other rides. I've been hearing all kinds of like crazy stuff where it's gonna be
Well, for
like, the
Disney,
newest thing ever. And
That's
for
what I
Disney,
feel with everything.
the best ride that I've experienced is at Orlando, and that was the Avatar one where you're totally immersed.
oh really?
Totally, completely immersed into it. They make it seem like you fly one of the banshees. They spray as you're going. What you smell the water,
Huh?
like the salt air, and then you get sprayed like with mist as the waves crash, and it's like you're in there.
Yeah.
It feels like you're there. So that for me is the standard for any new ride that has that quality. Like that's what I was expecting for this one. It fell a little short, but it was good.
Right.
But if they're saying this is going to be the top dog, it has to beat this one ride that I've already got on.
Yeah.
Because I know in Japan they even have Tron light cycles. That one's cutting edge too.
Really?
They're actually bringing that over to Florida.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, in Florida, there's a lot more of... Because they have the room.
Yeah,
They have the room to grow. Whereas Disneyland, you're in California, it's kind of like...
Everything's closed in.
Yeah. Everything's so... Like, they got rid of office buildings to put Star Wars land in there. And they bought land someplace else to put the office buildings there and all kinds of stuff like that. The only way they could do it is if they build up. But you're in California.
Yep.
You can only go so high up before, Earth decides I want to knock it down.
And on top of that, you also have the height restrictions in Anaheim, so they can't really do that. That's why the castle isn't that tall, or everything's not really that tall like in Orlando. Or in the other parks, you have these tall, amazing castles.
Well, Orlando, they bought it's like a city, so they bought...
They own the swamp.
Own city. It's like their own city or whatever, They have their own zip code and everything.
You know how many rides are at Disneyland?
No.
Only one. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That's the only ride. That's the only ride Disneyland has.
It's the only one that matters.
And everything else is called an attraction. So they have attractions, but they only have one ride, which is Mr. Toad's.
I wonder what they're gonna do with that whole Marvel land that they're gonna.
That's going over in France. So yeah.
No, it's actually in Anaheim.
They're supposed to build.
They're putting it.
You're talking about the kid one. Okay. Yeah.
They got rid of Bugs Land.
Oh, that's where.
And that's where it's going. So it's going to take over Tower of Terror, into Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's going to move all the way down that way. And I think they're going to take over part of Hollywood because they actually.
That makes sense.
They're taking over all Hollywood. I thought
it could be. I think they're leaving part of Hollywood, but then they're going to go around it because they have a hangar where they have Carol Danvers is her plane and Captain America.
Yeah. Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I think part of it's going to change. There's a little section of California there that kind of looks like Brooklyn, like with the stoops and everything like that. So I think they're probably going to do that for like because Spider-Man was heavily
in the park. Yeah.
Which we're going to lead into with what's going on with the Spider drama.
Web of Lies.
I'm very curious about that because they made that entire queue area just for Spider-Man.
Well, they own the rights to do that. Okay. They don't own the rights to make the movie.
Yeah, they don't own the movie rights.
So
but it gets really technical. They can do this and this and this. They just can't do this.
Just like they own the rights to the Hulk, but they do not own the rights to make a solo Hulk movie that lies with Universal.
Yeah.
Guys, can you just get along, please?
Well, when they were going bankrupt, they were selling off their properties like candy, so they could stay afloat and make more comic books. These people bought that. These people bought this, and now that they actually became a powerhouse as far as movies are concerned, and they want to play in the sandbox with everyone else. That's why they're kind of like, all right, we'll buy this. Boom! Now they have Deadpool, they have the X-Men, they have Fantastic Four, Namor the Submariner.
You seen those memes where it's got Rocket Raccoon talking to Winter Soldier?
I've seen it.
And it's showing Winter Soldier's Sony, Rocket Raccoon's Disney.
Yeah.
And he was like, so we want to use Spider-Man, and Sony's all no. He's all like, well, how much for the whole company?
Yeah.
That's my favorite meme.
Yeah.
I've been referencing that so much.
But now Disney wanted more of the pie.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was like, they wanted 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a ginormous company that's making millions of dollars no matter what, you get the merchandising, I believe, and you have the licensing to do all this other stuff.
But what if that was a tactic? What if they have something else in mind, and so they did that 50-50 offer just to cancel the deal? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
almost like they were,
you're banking. But the thing is that you're banking so much on Spider-Man after Tony Stark died.
Yeah.
Spoilers. That
I think we did the spoiler after.
if you haven't seen the movie by now, you're not gonna. By the way,
you're not a fan.
You're re-releasing Spider-Man Extended Edition, Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, Far From Home.
Yeah.
Really? Hmm.
They're releasing that, so I'm not gonna watch it because I'm kind of. I don't want to get duped like I did with the Avengers.
Oh, yeah, Avengers. The
Endgame, the extended. Anyway, for them to bank so much on Spider-Man carrying, like he's gonna carry the team or try and build a new team, or they put a lot of stock into Spider-Man. And Tom Holland is still under contract. He's still gonna play Spider-Man 2 more times.
Yeah.
Now, if it's just for Sony alone, or if it's for Sony and Disney, that's to be determined. But you kind of feel bad for Happy Hogan. I mean, him and Aunt May were a thing, and it's kind of like now Marvel has the rights to Happy Hogan, but they don't have the rights to Aunt May.
Yeah, that's true.
And if it does end, that whole cliffhanger at the end is like, this just ends. Spider-Man is, you know what I mean? Is like, okay, that ended, so now he moved away, and now he's in San Francisco with Eddie Brock. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm worried about, is that now that Sony doesn't have the Disney behind them, and the whole Marvel, the MCU, the movies are just going to get worse.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
And if anything, Disney has all the cards.
Right.
Because right now, even though they said we want 50% of it, everyone's looking at Sony as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which technically is kind of like, no, Disney is being greedy and wants more money.
Yeah.
And are they entitled to it? They're producing it. They're putting it together. They're putting up all the Disney dollars.
They're doing all that.
And they're getting, I think, 15% of the profits. Mm-hmm. And Fox is getting the rest of it. So pretty much, here's my character. Make a movie. But you do all the work, but I get most of the money.
Yeah, I can see why there would be a disagreement.
But if you're Disney, you don't need more money. You're good. No. You're going to make money off of the merchandising alone, let alone the character in your park. So right now, Sony looks like the bad guy. So it's putting a black eye on them more than anything else.
But that's where I kind of think that maybe Disney did that
on purpose.
Because let's think about this for a minute. You're the big company. You're the one that's got all the money, holding all the cards, and you can't tell me somebody in management didn't go, well, hold on. You know, if you make this 50-50 offer, they're never going to go for it. And I get this feeling like he was told, like, they're never going to go for this deal, and he just stood there going like, okay, yeah, I know. We'll make it anyways.
That, honestly,
I really can. Yeah, it's very possible he's probably did this on purpose because he's got something else up his sleeve that where on the back end he'll end up getting it for less.
Or he'll just get more, because if I want 30%, I'll shoot up at 50. All right, negotiate. Okay, why don't we do 30 instead? Fine, done deal.
I think it's a tactic to buy
the rights.
Spider-Man back. Yeah, to get the rights back.
That's a lot of money. Well,
so if Disney pulls out, Sony's left without any help. They're gonna make a movie that's gonna go badly. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows this. Everybody's seen what they've done.
But you see, there's a thing.
Nobody will see the movie. They'll make no money.
It doesn't,
and then they'll be forced to sell them.
But that's the thing, is that doesn't matter. The contract says that they have to produce a movie X amount of years.
Right.
So if anyone sees it or not, they still get to make that movie. So if they made the movie, it's kind of like, well, the contract is renewed because you did meet the time period.
But Disney has not enough money to go and say, sure, go make that movie. Go make that movie. Go make that movie. Whether it makes money or not, we don't care. Sony doesn't have the money to say, go make that movie, go make that movie, go make that movie. Whether we make money or not, I don't care. They can't afford to do that. That's where I'm saying that's probably the whole reason why Disney did this, was because they know
you could
Sony
be right. No,
end up
so like I said, right now Sony. No, Sony.
I mean, that does make sense.
I don't think
make or break.
I don't think they would ever sell it. 1, 2. Disney probably is going to do it to get a bigger profit, because ultimately, like I said, Sony looks like the bad guy.
Right.
And they're being pressured by their fans to say Spider-Man needs to be in Marvel. Because it's kind of like now, it's kind of like there's a hashtag Save Spider-Man.
Well, if you look at it, how many years since the MCU became a thing that we want Spider-Man in there? I've heard that so many times, like, I want Spider-Man in the MCU.
And that's kind of my point, is like, the Tobey Maguire movies were great, but when the third one came out, everybody rioted, and then they ended up scrapping it all and starting over.
Yeah.
They started over with the Amazing Spider-Man. People started throwing a fit that they weren't that good.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't mind Garfield. I like this costume.
Right, but I'm talking
nice.
about on overall.
Yeah, well,
And the only time people really loved Spider-Man is when they went and partnered up with Marvel.
MCU.
Now that they're not going to be partnered with Marvel, and they go back to doing what they did before.
well, I don't know.
That's where I say that they're going to end up losing money because they're not going to make enough money like they could have with Marvel, and they're going to end up having to sell out.
But you're banking on Spider-Man being their only property that they have. So
But
has a
you're
bunch
talking
of
Venom.
No, I'm not talking superheroes at all.
He's talking about the
entire company alone. Sony owns a lot more. I mean, hell, they even have their own products.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not as big as Disney, do you think?
Yeah, but nobody's as big as Disney.
Well,
Name a company that's bigger than Disney.
That's
Maybe Google, maybe Amazon.
Mm-mm.
Maybe Amazon.
Yeah, because he's the richest man in the world as the CEO of Amazon. He's rich. He could buy Disney. He'll be broke,
a lot of stuff.
but he could buy.
Amazon isn't into a lot of stuff.
I mean, he divorced his wife and only gave her like $14 billion.
Well, hell, I think
he's a little bit of an ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but if you're that rich, you could afford it.
I think when Disney first bought Marvel, though, they had to take a loan out.
Yeah. No.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was just on the first purchase of Marvel.
Here's what pisses me
and
off.
then they made enough money where they could go ahead and pay that loan off.
You want to know what pisses me off?
To buy more stuff.
Is the fact that Lucas sold,
or maybe it was that one.
No, Lucas sold a Disney sold Star Wars for $4 billion and gave the whole thing to charity. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
He knew I didn't need the money. $4 billion to go and right to charity.
Right.
I'm cool with that. The following 6 months or a year later, Angry Birds sold for $12 billion. No, Candy Crush sold for $12 billion. You're gonna tell me Candy Crush is worth more than Star Wars? $12 billion for Candy Crush?
Didn't Marvel sell for like 60 or 70?
Yeah, but they were going bankrupt.
Well, yeah.
That's the difference. It's kind of like it's kind of like, here's somebody like, I'll buy you for like whatever amount of money, you'll take it.
Yeah.
Granted, Disney, first, actually, Disney was eyeballing DC before Warner Brothers stepped in.
Yeah.
I would not want Disney on DC. I'm sorry.
I would not be. I would be okay with it. See, the reason they're buying these is because they have the Princess Racket on lock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But they have no way of bringing in boys. So it's kind of like, that's what we have to put in superheroes.
Yeah.
So that's the reason that they bought all these characters, because kind of like Princesses is going to bring the little girls into the park and buy the merchandise.
The kids in.
Yeah.
We need stuff for the kids.
Well, yeah, that's where Disney has this stuff on lock, is because they understand children.
We need to get this demographic in.
Because they know that that's where they make their money, is off of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And merchandising.
Yeah, and then because with kids, you start them off young, you get them hooked on your stuff, and they'll love it till the day they
But the
die.
problem is that
when they get older, they'll still buy this stuff.
The problem is that I'm having is that they're not reading the comic books.
Well, it's always a problem.
They're not pushing the comic books for me.
No, I wouldn't even know how to.
But to do that. That's what are you talking about? That's a great reading program. You're gonna have Captain America going to schools, and bringing comic books and having kids read.
Well, that's almost like trying to change everything, change the world. If you ask me.
No, anything will be great if you have Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, or Thor. Just go to schools and bring a stack of comic books.
Yeah.
And start a reading program. That would be great, because you're going to get, little girls reading Captain Marvel comic books, Black Widow, and then you're going to have everyone else reading, or whoever they want to pick as their hero. It could be a little girl reading Falcon for all I care, because that's a great character. Or, Iron Man, Iron Heart, anything. But it's a good way to have a reading program, which I think not only is it going to get kids to read, because I told you that's how I started reading books, was through comic books. Now it's kind of like the comic book industry benefits, they benefit, and we have less illiterate kids.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Disney should really focus on. It's going to help them, it's going to help the future, and it's going to help the comic book industry, because now you're going to crank out a heck of a lot more books. Like I told you, when I first read my first comic book, the dreaded to be continued was in the back. So I had to get the next comic book, and I had to get the comic book after that, and then the one after that. And I was hooked on reading books.
And I agree that is a great way for them to create new fans and stuff like that. But whether or not they'll do it, it's almost like, I don't know.
In the way like the comic books, kids reading them, like I've been to parks hundreds of times now. Like they have an entire section for comic books and DCA in one of the gift shops. I've seen that. Also, we are into the digital part where.
Yeah, but even then, a read on a tablet and a read on a
paper thing. It's different,
but it's still reading. Yeah. To me, it's still reading.
It's still reading.
So I mean,
it works.
Yeah, I mean, you can start off, give them like Amazon gift cards to download books or whatever the case is. Paper, it doesn't matter. You know, even comic books now, they give you a digital copy when you buy a book.
Yeah, they do.
So I mean, okay, I'll download the digital copy and I'll still have the physical copy.
So D23 had passed. Mm-hmm. We do have
Comic-Con way past.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a while ago.
There was a lot of good stuff came out of there, though.
Yeah. It actually was really big this year, too. It was a lot bigger than before.
Did you go?
I went to the outside part of it because if you guys don't know, the outside part's free. You can go there.
And there's tons of stuff.
Don't tell people that. I'm tired of walking through the...
But no, like the year before I did the outside part again too, and it was just downtown San Diego. This time it was downtown San Diego and like the entire side of the convention center.
Yeah, it was a good stuff. There was a lot. I really didn't get a chance to do much of the outside.
Yeah.
Inside was dope.
I mean, I only did half of the outside, and that took all
there's
day.
a lot. There's always a lot of stuff going on outside, inside and out, and then you get a lot of the hotels that participate and they join in and all that good stuff.
Pop-up restaurants and
yeah.
Pop-up stores now too. They do pop-up stores too.
Yeah. They had the Comic-Con museum.
Oh yeah.
And they offered me like, special deal, $250 to get in. I'm like, what? How does your museum cost more than the tickets to Comic-Con?
How does your museum cost more than a ticket at Disneyland?
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, inside and out, it was the 50th anniversary of Comic-Con. Oh, you know what? They had some really cool stuff. They didn't give anything away, but they had like 50th anniversary type deal gear and Funko Pops, which nobody was able to get, but the vendors were.
Of course.
This year they joined Warner Brothers and DC together. DC didn't have their own solo booth,
right?
But I thought it was pretty cool because it's kind of like it winds up being with all the Warner Brother media, which is like the CW shows and all that, and then the app and everything they had to do with DC was over there. I did get the chance to do a special trip. I don't know if I told you. Since I jumped on early on, they sent me a message asking if I wanted to hang out with in a yacht, hang out with Jim Lee.
No way, really?
Yeah. So they brought us on a yacht, free alcohol,
nice.
Hang out, brunch, and Jim Lee was there. But that was like a last minute thing that they told us. We didn't know. They just said special guests. That's it. And it was this pretty nice yacht. They gave us like a little goodie bag. Inside there was like a DC fan.
Really?
It was a cooling fan for you to wear around your neck when you're in the convention. Because it's summer in San Diego.
Yeah,
they gave you DC's hand sanitizer and like a towel, a legit beach towel.
Like a cosplay kit or something.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a surviving cosplay.
I cosplayed this year for the first time.
Right,
yeah.
Ooh.
So they gave us all kinds of cool little stuff. But Jim Lee was there. We got to do a little bit of promos. So on the DC app, you'll see me somewhere in there. Hey, we love DC, that kind of thing. But I got a chance to talk to Jim Lee a little bit because, it's a line. But it was only 100 of us.
Yeah. So
he got to spend a little bit more time to talk to you. And we talked baseball for about 10 seconds.
Oh, that's
because he's a Dodger fan and so am I. And we were talking about what are they going to do for them not to disappoint. Because the last couple of years, the Dodgers have been going and not making it to the... So he's all we talked a little bit of something all right, cool, this is dope. Because I'm pretty sure he's tired of hearing comic book questions. I mean, though that's his passion, it's kind of let's change it up. And I did ask him if he likes chunky or creamy peanut butter. And I was disappointed because he is a chunky peanut butter guy.
Wow.
And I'm like, you could have your autograph back, sir. I no longer need that. If Jeff John's around here somewhere. But no, that was a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's dope, though. Man.
Yeah, they did that for the fans, and right next was the IMDb boat.
Yeah.
So since we were looking who is that over there?
Right.
I think the Flash was going on at that time, so that was pretty cool. So that was a lot of fun. They did that for some of the fans. A couple of their, Adult Swim was on that side. Rick and Morty was doing a panel out there.
Yep.
Inside, I did get a chance to see Arrow's final.
Oh yeah.
That one was emotional as all hell. It's a great show. I've watched it from the beginning. I continue watching it. There is a story. 3 years ago, a little girl showed up dressed up as Stephen Amell from season 1 of Arrow, and she said that she's a cancer survivor. Girl probably about 10 or 11 years old. And he had just started the F Cancer campaign. Right. So she's all like, what are you going to do next? He went down and gave her a little necklace that a friend made. It was a little arrow. Uh-huh. He said, next year, bring this back. Are you coming next year? Like, well, if I could get tickets. Yeah. He made it happen. So the following year, she came back. She's like, oh, I brought your necklace back. I'm like, cool. Yeah. I've only stolen one thing from the set. He brought her down the original bow. Oh, wow. So his original bow, so she's like, here you go. Are you coming back next year? She's like, if I get tickets, trust me, you'll get tickets. Yeah. So then he went back up. This year, she came back with his bow. And she's like, all right, this is it. This is the final one. And yeah, it was like very emotional. He was very emotional. The whole cast was, for very good reason. He gave her his original jacket from season 1 for her to keep. Oh, wow. So it was a really cool story if you happen to go to this panel to see grow. And it being the last one, it was kind of like, this is the dopest thing I've ever seen for a celebrity to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a lot of his castmates were saying, it's kind of like, no, this is who he really is. Uh-huh. He does these things not just for like publicity or nothing. He just does it because he's a good guy. Mm-hmm. And he's getting emotional because they're talking good stuff about him. Yeah. But he's all like, he does not like that from me. You could tell. But, you know, he took it and the mediators all like, final bow. And they did. And they walked right off. And everyone was like, oh, God, this is great. But no, it was a good panel. Supergirl was a good panel. They touched bases on Crisis. Yeah. Because since I did see all those panels, everyone asked questions about Crisis. Right. And now... at the convention, they said, it's kind of like, well, Black Lightning most likely will be in this. Yeah. And that's when the Brandon Ralph came out in Supergirl panel, I think it was. Flash panel. And he's all like, well, you know, he's not going to wear the original costume. He's all like, well, I have an idea. And then Kingdom Come Superman shirt is underneath his shirt. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be so good. Tom Welling is rumored to be in there as well. Well, Michael Rosenbaum is rumored. No, he's confirmed to play A. Luthor. Yeah. So A. Luthor, because they're also bringing John Cryer back as Luthor. Right. Yeah, he's so. And who else is? Kevin Conroy as old Bruce Wayne. Yeah, he's which makes you wonder who's going to be playing. If there's going to be a Terry McGinnis. Well, I'm curious to see if. Yeah, there's a lot that you missed. It was so good. What's the name that plays Robin from Adam West? Yeah, Burt Ward is going to be in there as well. Burt Ward's supposed to be in there somewhere. I think in the Batwoman. Yeah, he's actually going to be in the crossover. Yeah. He is going to be a Robin where Batman died. In his world, Batman died, and he was a Robin. Huh. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be like a lot of... Well, that was what they had... see, they give you so much, but they can't really confirm it. But they said Burt Ward's going to be in there, and he's all like... what would a Robin be if Batman died? And that's kind of what they alluded to, but they never said he is going to be Robin. Yeah. That Batman died. Like, are they going to do something like as Robin or as a Nightwing or as Red X? Which Robin too? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know? Oh, he's got to be Dick Grayson. He has to be Dick Grayson. If he's not. Yeah. Jason Todd. No. I'm watching your face. I'm like, yeah, he's going to say it. Yep. Yeah, but no, so that's got me all kinds of interested. I think that too, that Crisis crossover is going to be huge. I think Legends of Tomorrow is supposed to be... everyone's going to be in it. From even, like, again, even shows that are not in that universe. Because Supergirl's not part of that universe. Right. And then I don't know if you saw... that they showed the timeline for that Crisis, and it's going to be split into like 2 weeks, and they're going to go on like a hiatus. Yeah, they're going to go on Christmas break. Yeah, they're going to do like 3 episodes or 4 episodes, something like that. But I'm not sure if they're saying like each show is going to get 2 episodes. Like from what I saw, the calendar showed which episodes are going to air on what days, and then it goes on hiatus for like a couple of weeks until January. I hate that. God, and then you get like 2 more episodes or 3 more episodes or something like that. Yeah, because last year was
what
only...
every show has done to me.
Last year was only 3.
Yeah, last year was only... And it was only Supergirl, Flash, and Arrow, and that was it. They kicked out the Legends.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Legends didn't have a panel this year. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with them after this. I mean, they could be engulfed. They could lose the Legends in this crossover.
It's possible. Well, they said Brandon's not going back to Legend. He's going to be like, they're going to take him out of the show.
Does he want out?
Adam's going to be gone out of the show.
Yeah, because they really don't have anyone else left. Everyone that's got superpowers.
Well, they keep changing the characters.
Yeah.
The only ones that have been there are
White Canary
and Fire.
Oh yeah, Fire Boy.
Fire Guy. Heatwave.
Yeah, that's it.
Heatwave. I mean, you can't have a Heatwave without Captain Cold, and it just doesn't work because they're.
Well, he's not too bad on the show. I mean,
no, he's a really good. Have you seen it? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
the show just turned like very, very comedic. So as long
as
they don't take it serious,
yeah,
it's a good show.
I mean, but if you think about it, they started off with Hawk Girl, Hawkman, Firestorm, and
we started with strong characters.
Yeah, Hawkman, Firestorm, and then the Atom, Captain Cold, and Heatwave.
Yeah.
So they got rid of the Hawk people.
Yep.
They got rid of Captain Cold. I think of the same season 1. I think so.
It might have been, yeah.
And then after that, then they got rid of Firestorm.
Yeah, Firestorm was that last season, right?
A couple seasons back.
Or was it 2 seasons?
Yeah, they got rid of him.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
They got rid of...
Yeah. They brought Kid Flash in, and
they got the actor needed a break.
Yeah.
But he's going to be back in the crossover, from what they said.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that show was just struggling. So I think they might pull the plug during the crisis. I think.
I mean, it's more than possible, honestly.
What do you think? What would be a saving grace for that show?
I don't see much of one at this point, just because that was a difficult show, I think, to start in the first place. Because you have all these really good shows. You have Flash, you have Supergirl, but they're all like standalone characters.
Yeah.
Then you bring in Legends, which is
a team.
Group.
Yeah.
So that makes things way, way more difficult. Especially if you're working on a set, because, spoiler, I've worked on sets.
How's that a spoiler?
Well, for me.
What are you doing? What'd you get cast in? Tell us now.
No, behind the scenes. But no, that's difficult to do, honestly.
I was thinking of, like, you're going to have a time travel show and not have Booster Gold?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the last season they brought in
Constantine.
Which kind of helped.
Yeah, but I love Constantine's standalone show. His standalone show was great.
I don't think he's coming back, though, either. I don't remember. I can't remember now.
I don't know either. I think they're ending. I have a feeling they're going to end the show.
It's possible. Yeah. Unless they bring in some characters that we haven't seen to help, boost the show. I don't know.
And they have to hype it up more if they do that.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that's...
Because I actually really liked Brandon Routh as Al. He was one of my favorite characters on the show.
Yeah, and like I said, I love Ryan, what's his name, as Constantine.
Yeah.
But like again, I loved his own show by itself.
Yeah.
The one that was on NBC. Mm-hmm. And then it's on I think the whole thing is on a CW app.
The DC
Universe app.
Yeah.
It ended in a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like, boom. It's kind of like, but the show's canceled now. It was your number 1 rated show that you canceled.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, so that was going on at that convention. But final convention of the season of this year would say is LA Comic-Con in this area.
Yeah.
In SoCal, yeah.
Other than, because that's in December. No, that's in October. Always in October. Yeah. Last week of October, right?
It normally was the last weekend.
Well, now it's the beginning of the...
Yeah, they brought it. They moved it up.
Because it was usually on Halloween weekend.
Yeah, it was.
It's now the...
That was when they had Elvira, but now she's not there anymore, so... I guess they changed the date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's now the 11th to the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having to say it so many...
Yeah, we've got tickets.
You already got them?
Yep. Just a 3-day.
How much are the 3-day tickets?
I think it was like $80, something like that.
75, 80?
Yeah, I'll probably go for 1 day or 2.
Saturday, Sunday.
How has that been growing since it started?
Which one, the LA one?
Yeah, I've never been to that one. I've been to WonderCon, I've been to Comic-Con, I've been to, back in the day, Wizard World.
The LA Con is actually fun to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I worked behind the scenes, so I was a vendor there, and I hated it when I was a vendor. But to actually go to just enjoy the convention, it's a lot of fun. Every time I would go in, I would just, when I spent time just going walking around and doing stuff, that's when I enjoyed it. So, and they have really cool stuff. They have like a stage where a main stage where they'll have panels going on, which is a lot of fun.
So it's not like Comic-Con. They have room this, or going to have that, room that, they're going to have this.
No, they do.
But they don't have like a whole lot of
panels.
Yeah, or at least interesting panels to me, not anything huge.
Yeah.
I think the biggest stuff always happens on the main stage.
Yeah, it's not near the scale of San Diego. Like, you're not going to get all those large rooms with the large announcements like that. They saved most of that for San Diego.
But you get people like The Rock was there once.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah.
What was he promoting? Do you remember?
Jumanji.
Could be, yeah. So he
know.
could be here again because he's probably promoting Jumanji too.
Yeah, it's very possible he might pop up. The last time I went,
because of that.
yeah, and they have a bunch of different people, and you'll have some really good.
I know Tenacious D was there
special
last
guests.
year. I think
was he?
Tenacious D, Jack Black, and his band.
They're supposed to have what's the Hobbit?
Frodo or Bilbo? Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Wood's supposed to be there.
Okay.
And then I think Drake Bell is
Yes.
supposed to be there.
That's right.
What from Drake and Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, they're shooting for the stars.
No, my kids are all like, Josh better be there.
Better not back out.
Right?
He's got so many commitments.
Of course.
I think the best role he ever did was Fairly Odd Parents.
You think?
Yeah, that was the only thing that I liked him in. He was Timmy Turner, wasn't he? He was Timmy Turner, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, best role ever. So I was thinking about a new cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be the electrical parade.
That'd be dope.
If you get a few people and you all line up with a whole bunch of Christmas
Yeah,
lights
that's exactly what I thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That would be dope.
That would
you
be.
just got to make some of the one that says Disney presents the electrical parade. That's got to be the main one.
But somebody's got to be the dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pete's Dragon. Yeah,
Yeah. That would be so cool.
yeah. But you can't do that at Comic-Con for the simple reason that there's no way you can
Well, it
move
depends
it.
on the convention.
But you see, for LA Comic-Con, it gets darker sooner.
That's true.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So you could turn on your
And
costume.
there's plenty of room at the LA convention to do it outside.
I mean, you have-
something with
Guys, please don't take my idea.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I'm talking about
now.
our listeners.
Yeah,
don't
it's too late
take
now.
my idea.
Yeah, it's too late.
But I think that'd be cool to just do the electrical parade.
Meredream just saved it on her phone.
Yeah, I know. So, but I think that would be
under cosplay ideas.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
That's
Just
the actual thing on here. Don't tell me.
I think that would be a lot of fun. Just the nostalgia of it, and somebody would be like, "Oh my god, or the electrical parade."
That would be dope, though. Yeah.
I just don't know how to. You have to have wire framing and.
Yeah,
You
you
have to
need,
put a lot
you
for
need like an
that.
electrician to figure that out.
Well, yeah, but I could just imagine the heat. I mean, one Christmas bulb is fine, but when you have hundreds of them,
Unless you get LEDs,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be as much heat.
Yeah, we'll see.
But then it wouldn't look the same.
Yeah, it's got to have the little
'Cause the
bulbs.
Yeah, the bulbs, they wouldn't be big enough.
You have to have the music playing in the background.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah.
That's very.
That would be so cool, though.
It would be. You get
Yeah.
4 or 5 friends, and you all just line up and just follow each other everywhere you
That'd
go.
be so cool. You'd probably only be able to do it for like
you gotta have the little turtle that
and
just
then you're
spins.
Yes.
Goes back and forth, and that one just
Yes.
goes and does little turns, and then goes back and forth. Little,
You just put something on a skateboard. You just
not even that. A little
'cause then
one,
they'd be able to
one of
sit
those
around
one of
and-
those little. Well, they called them hoverboards, but they never hovered.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd probably be your best bet. But even then, you could just walk around and spin yourself. You don't need a hoverboard.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's safer.
They keep on the lights and you're spinning in circles.
Yeah, you're gonna get dizzy.
You'd be like, turtle down, turtle down.
I want to be the turtle, or maybe that or Pete's Dragon.
Peace Dragon. I'd have to be Peace Dragon.
Yeah, that'll be the front. I'll be the one that says "Welcome to the Main Street Electrical Parade."
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I guess we're gonna wrap up this episode. I think we rambled on long enough.
Way too much.
All right, guys. So that's it. We're all done for today. We'll join us next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
We're not bad people.
Hey.
I'm
hey.
a bat person.
Yeah.
No.
Speak for yourself, Joker.
I mean, I'm Batgirl, so.
Well, I guess you got to follow your dreams.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, folks. We're out of here. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done.